The last stand the war had lasted for many years. Planets were burned, cities turned to dust, and millions of lives were lost. It was a war between the Galactic Union, a powerful alliance of alien races, and the humans of Earth. At first, no one believed humans could fight back. The aliens thought it would be easy, but humans were different. They refused to give up. Now, it was the final battle. The last human ships gathered near a dying star. The space around them was filled with wreckage. Burned ships, broken weapons, and bodies floated in the darkness. It was a graveyard of war. On the command ship of the alien fleet, a tall, cruel alien named Valencia stood in front of a large screen. She was the supreme leader of the Galactic Union's army. Her skin was a dark shade of blue, and her eyes were cold like ice. "Is it done?" Valencia asked, her voice sharp. A young alien officer nodded. "Yes, Commander. The last human cruiser has been destroyed. No life signals remain. We have finally won." A cruel smile spread across Valexia's face. "Good. Finally. Every human is dead." The alien crew cheered. For them, this was the end of a long and bloody war. Humans had been the biggest threat the galaxy had ever known. Now, with their death, peace could return. But not everyone cheered. An old alien officer, General Karath, stood quietly in the corner. He had fought humans for decades and knew their ways. "Commander," Karath said, his voice low, "we should double-check the wreckage. Humans, they have a habit of surviving." Galaxia laughed. "Old fool, there is no one left. I saw their last ship explode with my own eyes." Still, something in the silence of space felt wrong. The alien fleet floated near the battlefield. Giant warships lined up like sharp blades. The stars shined coldly in the distance. All that remained were broken ships and metal pieces spinning slowly in the blackness. Suddenly, one of the alien officers shouted, "Commander, there's movement." Valexia's smile faded. "What do you mean?" The officer pointed at a screen. A half-destroyed human fighter ship drifted past their view. Its wings were broken, smoke rising from its engines. But on one of its wings, something moved. The screen zoomed in. It was a figure. A human, covered in blood and dirt, his uniform torn but alive, and he was smiling. The alien crew froze. That's impossible." Someone whispered. The human stood on the wing of his broken ship as it floated in space. His face was half burned, one eye swollen, but the other eye gleamed with cold fire. His smile was wide, almost like he was enjoying this moment. Valexia's hands tightened around the command rail. "Who is that?" No one answered. The cameras tried to scan him, but no life signals appeared. The systems couldn't lock onto him, as if he was a ghost. But there he was, clear as day, standing on the wreckage. The alien fleet, so powerful just minutes ago, now felt a strange chill. The stories about humans came rushing back to their minds. How they survived on death worlds. How they fought when outnumbered. How they came back from the dead. A message appeared on the main screen. 4 simple words. "Not dead yet, Commander." The bridge went silent. Valexia's heart pounded in her chest. "Send a squad," she ordered. "I want him brought to me, alive or dead." A group of alien soldiers prepared to board the wreckage. Their ship moved closer to the broken fighter, but as they approached, the figure didn't move. He just kept smiling. The soldiers landed near the fighter's wing. The humans still stood there. One soldier raised his weapon, aiming at the human's head. But before anyone could fire, a sudden flash of light came from behind them. One by one, the soldiers disappeared, pulled into the shadows of the wreckage. No sound, no screams, just silence. On the bridge, Valencia watched in horror. What is happening? She shouted. The cameras went dark. The only thing that remained on the screen was the human's face, grinning wider than before. Then the communication systems crackled, and a voice spoke, rough, broken, but clear. "You missed one." The screen went black. Vorlaxia's eyes widened in terror that the war was not over. The grinning ghost Vorlaxia stared at the black screen. Her cold hands trembled for the first time in years. The bridge of her ship was silent. None of her officers dared to speak. The face of the human, that broken and bloody face, kept flashing in her mind. "No one survives that," Vorlaxia whispered. To herself, "No one." General Karoth stepped forward. His old face was grim. "I warned you, Commander. Humans are not like other creatures. You kill them 100 times, and somehow one always returns." Vorlaxia glared at him. "It's one man, one useless human. I will deal with him." But deep down, even she felt a shadow of fear. She turned to her officers. "Scan the wreckage again. Find him. Now." The scanner swept over the battlefield, but something strange happened. The systems froze, the screens glitched. No readings came back. It was as if the wreckage was empty. "No life signs," reported the officer nervously. "It's like he's not there." "That's impossible," Vorlaxia snapped. "We all saw him." The old legends whispered among the alien soldiers spoke of human warriors so fierce they became more than flesh, something between life and death. They called them grinning ghosts, men who died with a smile, only to rise again. But no one believed those stories. Until now, a small squad of alien soldiers, armored and armed, was sent to the wreckage. Their ship drifted through broken pieces of metal, past ruined warships and floating bodies. The silence in space felt heavier than before. Inside the troop. "Carrier," one of the soldiers spoke. "Commander Vorlaxia said this human can't survive. So why are we going?" No one answered him. The squad's ship docked with the wreckage. They moved carefully onto the broken human fighter. The wing where the figure had stood was empty. The soldier leading them checked his scanner. No signs, nothing. Maybe it was a trick. Then a sound came. A soft tap, tap. The soldiers turned quickly. A helmet floated by, bumping against the ship's side. But when one soldier picked it up, a message was written inside it in red letters. "I see you." A chill ran through them. Then, one by one, the squad members began to disappear. A shadow moving fast in the dark. A hand grabbing a soldier, pulling him into a broken corridor. No gunfire, no screams, just sudden, eerie silence. Back. On the bridge, Vorlaxia watched through their helmet cams. One by one, the screens went dark. Only one remained. The last soldier's breathing was heavy. His eyes darted around. His light flickered. "Commander?" "He's here. He's—" The screen cut to black. Vorlaxia's heart pounded. She had fought many wars, destroyed whole civilizations. But this was different. How is this possible? She hissed. General Karoth stepped beside her. "Some humans refused to die. You should have left them alone," Vorlaxia growled. "Enough of your ghost stories. Find him." Suddenly, a ship-wide alarm sounded. The lights dimmed. The ship shook. A message appeared on every screen in the fleet. "Not yet." The message blinked. Again and again. And then the laughter started. It was human laughter. Broken, rough, and echoing through every speaker on every ship. A laughter filled with madness and joy. Vorlaxia's eyes widened in horror. "How did he get into our systems?" "No one can do that," an officer cried. But they were wrong. One human could. The cameras flickered. For a moment, every screen in the command bridge showed the grinning human's face, blood on his lips, a fire in his eye, and that same terrible smile. Then the ship's power cut out. Darkness. That silence, only the sound of that laughter remained. Floating in the blackness of space, the grinning ghost was real, and he was coming for them. A legend in the ashes. The lights came back on slowly across Vorlaxia's flagship, but the silence was worse than the darkness. No one spoke. No one moved. They were afraid to. Vorlaxia stood at the center of the bridge, staring at the flickering screen. Her hands were shaking now, though she tried to hide it. Report, she growled. An officer spoke in a low voice. 3 ships lost contact. We believe they were boarded. Internal cameras show nothing. Just empty halls. Empty? She asked sharply. The officer nodded. No enemies, no survivors, just silence. General Karoth stood quietly in the shadows. His old face was pale. I've seen this before, he said. Vorlaxia turned toward him. You know something. Karoth's voice was cold. There was a battle 30 years ago. A human outpost surrounded by 6 alien warships. We thought they were finished. But one man, just one, escaped. He didn't run. He stayed. And one by one, our ships went dark. No gunfire. No explosions. Just fear. He looked directly at her. We called him a ghost. Not because he died, but because he made everyone else disappear. Vorlaxia narrowed her eyes. Stories don't scare. Karoth shook his head. They should. Across the alien fleet, panic spread. Soldiers refused to go near the wreckage. Engineers locked their doors and carried weapons. Even commanders whispered rumors that the last human had become something more, something beyond death. They called him names now. The Shadow, the Last Flame, the Grinning Ghost. Some claimed they saw him in reflections. Others said they heard his footsteps behind them. But when they turned, no one was there. And then the sabotage began. The fleet's weapons. Systems stopped working. Engines overheated. Ships floated dead in space, one by one. Vorlaxia knew this wasn't an accident. He's not just hiding, she said aloud. He's hunting. She stood at the center of a giant war machine. Thousands of alien soldiers, dozens of capital ships, powerful weapons and advanced tech. And yet, she felt helpless. Single human was doing this? How? She whispered. How is he doing this? Then a new message appeared on the main screen. We learned from you. And below that, a symbol, the ancient flag of Earth. Burned and cracked, but still standing. The alien officers looked at each other. Many had never even seen the symbol. Before, the war had been going for so long, they had forgotten who started it. But the symbol now reminded them. This war began because aliens thought humans were weak. They were wrong. The comms crackled again. This time, it wasn't a message. It was breathing. Slow, steady human breathing. Then a voice. Calm. Quiet. You killed billions. You laughed. But now, it's my turn. Vorlaxia slammed her hand on the console. Enough. I will not be threatened by a dead man. But deep down, she knew he wasn't dead. He was alive, and he was getting closer. Across the fleet, doors opened by themselves. Lights flickered. On some ships, entire rooms were sealed shut, trapping the crew inside. One ship, the Zirathra, exploded. From the inside without warning. No one knew how. Pieces of its burning hull floated past the windows of the flagship. And then, a drone arrived. A small, old human recon drone, damaged, barely functional, drifted through space and gently tapped against the hull of Vorlaxia's ship. The crew brought it inside. It had one file. They opened it. A video played. It showed the destroyed cities of Earth, human children running from fire, soldiers falling, civilians buried in rubble. Then the screen went black, and a message appeared. Remember what you did? Everyone on the bridge stood in silence. The weight of guilt filled the room. For the first time in her life, Galaxia felt something other. Than pride. She felt shame. Karath looked at her. You wanted to erase a species, but humans are not paper. They are fire. You tried to blow them out, but no. That fire is inside your house. Galaxia didn't reply. Outside the window, far in the distance, a single escape pod drifted toward them. And inside that pod, a figure sat, head down, helmet cracked, smiling. The lone wolf strikes. The fleet was falling apart. Ships drifted. Like dead things in space. No orders were clear. Soldiers spoke in low voices, their eyes darting at every shadow. Every flickering light, every echoing footstep made them jump. And in the middle of it all, Galaxia stood on her bridge, trying to hold her crumbling army together. We are the Galactic Union, she shouted. We've crushed thousands of worlds. One human will not break us. But even her voice sounded weak now. General Karoth no longer stood beside her. He had taken a squad and sealed himself inside one of the gun decks, refusing to follow Galaxia's orders. Other commanders were doing the same. Fear ruled the fleet now. On one ship, a squad of alien soldiers gathered in a control room. I say we run, one of them whispered. And go where? Another snapped. There's nowhere safe if that thing is out there. It's just a man, one shouted. No, a voice replied from the shadows of the room. They turned, weapons raised, but there was no one there. Only a flickering screen, showing a face, the human, bloodied, grinning. Boo, he whispered. The screen exploded. In static, the soldiers fired wildly at the walls, but when the smoke cleared, only one soldier remained. He ran, slipping on the blood of his own men. Across the fleet, strange things happened. Airlocks opened by themselves, sucking crews into the blackness of space. Weapon systems overloaded and fired at friendly ships. Engines shut down, leaving warships helpless and spinning. And through it all, that same message appeared again and again. Not dead yet. Galaxia's bridge was no safer. The lights dimmed, the air thick with tension. Suddenly, an alarm blared. Security breach on Deck 5. An officer cried. How did he get inside? Galaxia demanded. No one knows. No ships came aboard. Galaxia's eyes narrowed. Seal the deck. I want him dead. But it was already too late. One by one, her top officers vanished, their comms cut off. No bodies were found, just their empty helmets left behind, placed neatly in the center of the deck, each one facing the command bridge. Galaxia realized something horrible then. This wasn't a random attack. He was targeting them. Her leaders, her strongest soldiers, her best ships, one by one. A plan, carried out with cruel, perfect timing, and somewhere deep inside her ship, he was getting closer. Galaxia gripped her weapon and faced the remaining crew. I want him cornered. No one leaves this ship alive unless he's dead. But the crew didn't move. Fear filled their eyes. One spoke. Maybe we should leave escape pods. Galaxia raised her weapon and fired, killing him instantly. The others fell silent. She didn't care. Fear would not win. Not while she still breathed. In the dark corridors of the ship, the human moved like a shadow. His body was battered, but his spirit was unbroken. His name was Rylan Cross, once a captain of Earth's forces. Now the last survivor. He moved through the ship's systems like a ghost, using old codes, breaking into doors, disabling cameras. Every step he took, the ship seemed to die a little more. He spoke softly to himself as he worked. You thought it was over. You thought. Wrong. In the weapons room, he set traps. In the engine bay. He cut wires. In the comms room, he sent one final message across the fleet. A simple line of text. The fire rises. The message blinked on every ship's screen. In one terrible moment. The fleet's unity shattered. Captains abandoned their posts. Some ships fired on others by mistake. Escape pods launched without permission. No one trusted anyone now. Rylan smiled to himself. This was what he wanted. Chaos. Fear. He wasn't fighting their army. He was breaking their minds. And soon, only Verlaxia would be left. Waiting for him. Revenge is human. Fleet was gone. The great warships of the Galactic Union floated dead in space. Their lights dim, their guns silent. Fires burned inside shattered hulls. Escape pods drifted without direction. The proud alien army that had crushed 1,000 worlds was now a graveyard, and one man was responsible. Rylan Cross, the last human. Inside the alien flagship, Verlaxia paced the bridge alone. Her officers were dead or missing. The screens around her showed nothing but static. She gripped her weapon tight, her heart racing. Her mind played tricks on her. Every sound, every flicker of light made her jump. She cursed under her breath. I will not be hunted by a human. But deep down, she knew it was already over. A sound came from behind her, a soft metallic tap, like footsteps. She spun around, weapon raised. Show yourself. Silence. Then a shadow moved across the doorway. Verlaxia's breath caught in her throat. You can't win, she hissed. We destroyed your world. Your people are dead. A voice answered from the darkness. You missed. One. Slowly, Rylan Cross stepped into the light. His face was covered in dirt and dry blood. One eye swollen shut, his uniform torn and scorched. But his other eye burned bright, and his mouth curled into that same terrible grin. Verlaxia raised her weapon, but her hands shook. You're just a man, she spat. Rylan laughed softly. And you're just next. Without warning, he moved, faster than she expected. Verlaxia fired, but he ducked and rolled. The shot missed, slamming into a control panel. Sparks flew. The room filled with smoke. Verlaxia fired again, but Rylan was already behind her. He grabbed her weapon, twisting it from her hands, and slammed her against the wall. She gasped, struggling. But his grip was like iron. Why? Why do you fight? She managed to say. Rylan's face darkened. For them. He threw her across the room. She crashed into a metal console. Pain shot through her body, but she forced herself up. I am Verlaxia, Supreme Commander of the Galactic Union. I've crushed empires. Rylan stepped closer, his voice calm. And yet, here you are, alone, leading. Verlaxia grabbed a hidden blade and lunged, but Rylan caught her wrist. A moment, their eyes met. You took everything from me, Rylan whispered. His grip tightened. The blade clattered to the floor. You burned my world, killed my family, laughed while my people died. He lifted her by the throat, her feet leaving the floor. And now, he said coldly, you get to see how humans end wars. Verlaxia struggled, her vision blurring. You can't kill me, she gasped. Without me, the war dies. Rylan's smile widened. That's the idea. He threw her down, grabbed the ship's emergency detonator from the wall, and activated it. A voice filled the room. Self-destruct sequence initiated. 10, 9, 8. Verlaxia's eyes widened in horror. You'll die too. She screamed. Rylan knelt beside her. I've been dead since the day you came to Earth. Then he stood, calm as the flames of war crackled around them. But you? He added softly, you get to burn for real. The countdown reached 1. A massive explosion shook the flagship. Fire swallowed everything. But just before the ship was torn apart, a single escape pod shot out into space. Inside it, a broken, bloodied man smiled one last time. Ryland Cross, the lone wolf. The last human. The ghost who couldn't die. The last. Laughed. The alien flagship was gone. A bright explosion lit up the darkness of space as the massive warship broke apart. Pieces of burning metal drifted slowly in the black sky. No survivors, no voices. The war that had once shaken the galaxy was now silent. The Galactic Union fleet, once a powerful force of thousands, was nothing more than wreckage. From the shadows of floating debris, a single escape pod moved through the darkness. Small, damaged, almost invisible. Inside, Ryland Cross sat quietly, his face lit by the dim red glow of emergency lights. His body was weak, his wounds deep. Blood stained his face, and one of his hands trembled. But his eyes still burned with life. And on his face was that same grin. A grin that had terrified Fleet, the grin that had haunted Valaxia's last moments. He reached for the pod's controls with his good hand. The screen in front of him showed the remains of the battlefield, alien ships drifting, fire still burning in the distance. He spoke softly to himself. That's for Earth. For a long time, he just sat there, staring at the stars. Then the pod's sensors picked up movement. A ship. Large. Not alien. Not one of theirs. A human ship. The screen flickered. A signal came through. A voice crackled over the comms. Unidentified. Pod, this is the Earth vessel Dauntless. Identify yourself. Ryland's grin widened. He pressed the button to reply. Name's Cross. Ryland Cross. Thought I was the last one. There was a pause. Then the voice answered. You're not. Not yet. The screen lit up with new signals. More human ships appeared, rising from behind debris fields and old asteroid belts where they'd hidden for years. Warships, fighters, freighters turned into gunships. The survivors, the ones no one expected, the ones the aliens thought were dead, and they were smiling too. Ryland let out a weak laugh. It hurt, but it felt good. Guess it's our turn now, he whispered. The Dauntless moved toward his pod, pulling him in with a tractor beam. As the pod was brought inside, Ryland's final message to the galaxy flashed across the wreckage of alien ships one last time. As long as one human breathes, the fight is never over. And somewhere, in the cold, endless dark of space, the last laugh echoed. The end.